They're trying to replace the teacher. Can't replace the information. All right. Culture and heritage. What is yours? I deal with 9 science. 9 science is a science. You understand what I'm saying? And with this science, you're going to get your mind right. Now, whether you believe it or not, you don't have to believe it, but some of this information in 9 science, you're going to have to contend with. You're going to have to contend with, because it's right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding. All right. Grand Kush or Cool NoopooH. Let's go on. This is a breakdown on hair and 9 ether in general. We are reading from the scroll, The Right Knowledge. This is an old scroll that came out in the early 90s. Okay. What is 9 ether? 9 ether is the original creative forces that made these scrolls possible. Okay. When we fall over into Afro Unu's works, 9 ether is NoopooH. Okay, spelled Noopoo, capital H. And I'm going to break down that H in NoopooH that goes along with 9 ether. 9 ether is the highest of all spiritual powers activated through the melanin in nature. 9 ether is the highest of all spiritual powers activated through the melanin in nature and the hormones of the God, Hueman, Netarat, Elohim, Anunnaki, manifesting 9 to the 9th power of 9 pure blackness, which is the highest of all supreme mathematics as seen in your hair texture. Okay? The number 9 is a symbol of birth. You have a natural curl in your hair, right? Now, you see how it says you have the natural curl in your hair, and then it has 9 in parentheses, okay? That's revolutionary. And the evolutionary, which we are coming out of the evolutionary cycle, that 9 is a H, a capital H. Excuse me. Some water. You, the children of the Netarat, supreme beings, Elohim, Anunnaki, lost your soul and your spiritual powers long ago when you interfered to change your 9 ether woolly hair to emulate the 6 ether goat-like hair of Azazel. Okay? It says, lost your soul and your spiritual powers long ago when you interfered to change your 9 ether woolly hair to emulate the 6 ether goat-like hair of Azazel as found in Leviticus 16:9, the fallen one, another name for Apep in Tamaray, Egypt. Once you start to work with the forces of 9 ether, meaning love of self and kind, these same forces will also begin to work with you and for you. Only then will you be in the right state of mind, 9 mind. Once the love of all other than self and kind has left you, then the forces of 9 ether will help you and will never abandon you. However, if you turn back to love of other than self and kind, other than your people, it will leave you again. You need a positive mentality to offset the negative. Then you will have the brain power necessary to identify yourselves with the universal forces of nature. So this goes above and beyond just being called an African or an Indian. Okay? You're talking about aligning and identifying self with the universal forces of nature. Within the scroll, he says, Tamu, Nefu, Set, Ta, earth, Mu, water, Nefu, wind, Set, fire, forces of 9 ether, and they will help you to liberty, godliness, and justice. 9 ether. The spirit of blacks represents life and death are opposites. Just as blacks and whites are opposites, 6 ether is 9 ether in death, and yet and still at his death returns to 9 ether, being the alpha and the omega. Nine ether can produce ghost and death, but ghost cannot produce nine ether. Okay. Through his mass media, the Tamil Hueman has tricked you and thoroughly convinced you that his goat-like hair is good and beautiful, nice hair, soft hair, and easy to manage. All lies. Okay? Is weak and is a sign of weakness and recessive genes. Recessive genes is lowercase h in the evolutionary cycle. Hold on. Recessive genes, lowercase h, as in the hair of a newborn baby. It is weak and gets stronger as they grow older. He appealed to you by your laziness, which has you convinced that your hair will be more manageable. If it is straight, you are the one with the hair that would be more manageable. Okay? Look at the Tamaray Egypt pictures. Everything that grows towards Padre, the sun, not away from it like straight hair. Get your afro, your natural back. You are the God man, and no other race of people on the surface of the planet Earth called Ta in Tamaray Egypt has woolly hair. It's not kinky, it's kingly. This should let you know that you are not from the planet Ta Earth. It is the same type of texture the elite beings of the universe have, namely the Neteret Elohim elders or Riskians, as found in Revelations 4:10. Now, where I'm at, dealing with 9 science, I know in reading that, there's going to be a lot of people who don't agree with the religious aspect of it and things of that nature. That's not what I'm locked into. Okay, what I'm locked into is our hair texture. You understand what I'm saying? You got to know how to discern right knowledge from, what they will be considering bullshit and be stuck on. You can't be stuck on what they stuck on. You got to know what the real is. The real is the hair. Your hair is your crown of royalty. Okay, now, if that's a true fact, right, then are we looking like our original selves today? No matter if you have a receding hairline, no matter if your afro grow full, what have you, these are human beings. The crown of royalty is your hair that grows like the sun. Okay? And you have to realize that APAP or Papas has you under a spell, and that's why you burn it, you perm it, you process it, you bleach it, you conk it, and you cover it, and you extend it. He purposely has you doing all of these things until its energies are cut off. I, Daniel, looked until the chairs were cast down, and the old one, angel of justice, Melchizedek of the ancient days, sat, whose robes were like white like snow, and their hair on his head was just like pure wool. His chair was lit up like fire, and his wheels were like burning fire. All right? There we go. Okay? Your own spiritual powers are in NoopooH, black magic. Okay? The spiritual science of you, the Nubians, Nuwapians, blacks. All right? In the case of the New Age Indians, they're not going to agree with this. But I would like them to bring their information that's tying them to being Indians and how the Most High put them on the planet separate other eumelanated people with woolly hair. The root of the word Ethiopian is ether, and in Middle English means upper air, or from Latin aether or Greek aether. Ghost is lower and ether is upper, or the highest, anu or on, Heliopolis. It's all about breath and breathing. Cain with 2 yads, as found in the Torah and the Bible in the Hebrew, in Genesis 2:7 as Neshama, Cain, which is ether, divine spirit, forever, and Kai, life, in Genesis 2:8 as Nefesh Ka, with 1 yod for ghost. Ether is the creative power that the sun and other true stars produce and emanate. Other white writers have wrote about ether. Okay? You got to understand solar dynamics. Now, when the planet was forming and was in a state of desolation or void and darkness, there were forces that were on this planet. Jeremiah 4:23. These forces were 9 ether. These black forces created life in the water first. Hydrocarbons were present in the waters. Hydrocarbon is simple methane or benzene gas that only contains hydrogen and carbon. Hydrocarbon, hydro from hudor, means wet or water, and carbon from Latin carbo, charcoal, black. So these black gases of 9 ether are the celestial origin of all Ethiopians, Hamarayat, Egyptians, blacks being behind the 9 bar or the known 9 planets of this new solar system. Now, you don't have to get with that, right? You don't have to get with that. But what you do have to get with is these forces were 9 ether. These black forces created life in the water first. Hydrocarbons were present in these waters. Hydrocarbon is simple methane or benzene gas that only contains hydrogen and carbon. They talking about we just Indians, we from the sun. All right? They trying to throw you off. They trying to throw you off and not really make you think about what's really cracking with black people on this planet. At one time, all Africa and the nearby surrounding lands before the parting of Africa from Asia and other territories was called Ethiopia or Kush. Okay? So let's go into some other information. See, they don't tell you about the origins of things. They don't tell you about the origins of things. They don't have that knowledge. 9 knowledge does, though. 9 knowledge is Ethiopian knowledge by nature, composed and disclosed by Ethiopians, that is, woolly-haired people. See, they're not even following their own people. They're not following no Indian information or anything. The information that they're giving you is from people that's writing about the Indians. They're not giving you no information from the Indians, from themselves. 9 knowledge is Ethiopian knowledge by nature, composed and disclosed by Ethiopians, that is, woolly-haired people. One of the major enemies of the Ethiopian race is ignorance. The words Cain and Negro spell the word ignorance because Cain, which is short for Caucasian, the white man, produced ignorance and created the mental dependent called Negro. The enemy of an intelligent mind is ignorance. Therefore, 9 knowledge provides the mental strength necessary to fight off this natural foe and help prepare a productive defense against it. Universal and natural knowledge, to be known as 9 knowledge, is the resurrector of the mental dead called Negroes. So if the Indians was called Negroes, right, they was made mentally dead. They became also mentally dead when they accepted the term Indian. 9 knowledge deals in origins. 9 knowledge deals in origins. Let's look that up. Origin, 1400s. Ancestry, race. The origins, okay? So when they say that they're Indians, is how, right? A rise, commencement, beginning, source, descent, lineage, birth. From a riri, arise, rise, get up, appear above the horizon, become visible, be born, be descendant, receive life. Okay? This is what 9 ether, 9 science is based on. Come forth, take origin, proceed, start of rivers, okay? To rise, basically, to arise, you know what I'm saying? Like the sun, from Sanskrit to set in motion, move. Beginning of existence, 1560s. That from which something derives its being or nature, okay? Then it goes into aborigine, right? Person, animal, or plant that has been in a country or region from earliest times. Okay? Latin, the first inhabitants, especially of Latium, hence the first ancestors of the Romans. This is possibly a tribal name, or from or made to conform to the Latin phrase ab origine, which literally means from the beginning. Okay. It was extended by 1789 to natives of other countries which Europeans had colonized, especially Aboriginal inhabitant of Australia. Okay, so when you saying you are Aborigine, right, you saying you are Roman. Okay, let's go. That's the origin, the etymology of origin. All right. Nine knowledge deals in origins, because origins are the beginnings of beings, and in beings are found the true nature of all beings. One does not really know a person, place, or thing until he knows the true nature of that person, place, or thing. Knowing and disclosing the true nature of persons, places, and things are nine knowledge, the Ethiopians' universal science. It is vital to Ethiopian survival and well-being that we know and identify ourselves, know and identify others, including our enemies, know and identify our surroundings and everything affecting our present and future. They got you stuck in historical content, the past. Okay? These booklets entitled The Nine Ball will provide us with the survival and liberation information. These books came out in the 60s. Let's continue. The sun is male and Mother Earth is female. The sun gives off ether in the form of what is called prominences. The sun has antennae called granulation, and Ethiopians' woolly hair looks like that granulation. So our woolly hair may correctly be called granulation, using an English expression. If one puts a straight strand of hair closer and closer to a fire, that strand of hair will granulate. That is, ball up because of the potency of the heat. The Ethiopian carries his and her sun within, and we appeared on planet Earth at a time when no other race could survive in the Earth's atmosphere, because just after creation, the atmosphere was too dense and potent for the weakness of human beings called mankind. Mankind is all peoples with straight hair by nature. The Ethiopian became identified with mankind down through evolution. Like when you're calling yourself an Indian. Okay? The Ethiopian became identified with mankind down through evolution, the straight hairs. Moreover, the sun heat genes in those who had to live in the Earth's original atmosphere had to be much stronger than those of mankind who came much later. In other words, the sun heat genes in the African pygmies were so dense and potent in their bone marrow and reproductive system, they turned the hair kinky, as fire does to a straight strand of hair. Hence, woolly hair is superior to straight hair, as the suns are superior to other universal bodies. Woolly hair by nature assures the Ethiopian that he and she are the originals on the planets, thereby the original personification of the suns. We bigger Ethiopians evolved from the smaller Ethiopian, now called the African pygmies, who lived in equatorial Africa. Equatorial Africa means they live within the sun zone. Do you dig what I'm saying? Let's check this right quick. Okay. We reiterate, the only people who could survive in the Earth's original dense and hot atmosphere just after the fiery creation were those who had sun heat genes, okay, within so strong that they would kink the hair, and those people were our ancestors, the African pygmies. Black skin is sun skin, and woolly hair is sun hair. The sun is 9, and 9 is the ball, which may conveniently be drawn as the circle, okay? In ancient times, the African pygmy was called Ta. Let's go into some more information, okay? Let me throw this in there. Like the sun, woolly hair symbolizes potency, life, and originality. The Ethiopian is the only one of the races who grows his and her crown by nature. Woolly hair stands up like a crown, and this makes the Ethiopian the natural king and queen of the universes by nature. That's dope. You dig what I'm saying? More information. You know, this info might be over the head because it really requires you to study. You know what I'm saying? So listen to reason in addition. The suns and the universes of nature have natural membrane sensors within that work like natural thermostats. When natural ether in the magnetic field of a sun decreases in real strength and also degree to a point lower than the thermostat sensor setting by laws of nature, the sun involved exhales more natural and mental ether called prominence by mundane sciences and tongues of fire by philosophers into the sun's magnetic field from the ocean of ether within the sun that is already prepared for the purpose of bringing the ether strength of the sun back up to par or sufficient level and degree in the magnetic field of the sun. The atmosphere immediately surrounding the body of a sun is called chromosphere by mundane scientists, and the surface of the sun, they name it the photosphere. The suns are growers and controllers of the universes via space, matter, and time, plus the laws and cycles of almighty nature. The eternal seal of infinite nature is the eternal circle of absolute nature, the biggest and outside circle in figure 13 of this caption. Let's go down. Listen to reason. The floculi on the surface of the sun are the hair of the sun, and it looks like spirals or springs. Okay? 999 science, 9 to the 9th power, 9 space, matter, and time, the hair. This is the symbol for the Ethiopian, symbol of originality, power, uniqueness, and identity. You're an Indian with the straight hair? Huh? Ethiopian race has kinky hair because we inherited our hair foculi from the suns who grew the universes by first growing themselves. And the writer repeats, the suns are self-created, self-grown by help of space and time, the laws and cycles of nature plus suitable conditions. The origin number of the Ethiopian race is 999, and the solenoid, the hair, the solenoid in this paragraph as shown here is 3 nines united, one atop each other. Okay? Listen to reason while on the origin of the kinky hair belonging to the Ethiopian race, let the scribe of the 9 writings known as Noon disclose a few more facts about kingly hair. The word number is a variant of the word Nubian or Nuba, and of course the word number refers to one or more of the numerical cipher and digits used in the English language. This means that the cipher 0 and 9 digits were created by our Ethiopian race ancestors on the Nile River in Africa, who called themselves by number names in sequence for the first or given names. The powers of nature who are concerned about peoples and the correct answers to their questions and the right solutions to their problems are NoopooH, NoopooH, who is the sound, right, reason God in the positive and the mind doctor that nourishes the minds of the patients with facts, that is to say, correct information, known as Noon. Okay, so I told you I was going to break down how the H in NoopooH, right, NoopooH, is relative to hair. Okay, all this information I gave you just to back up me telling you about the H in NoopooH, okay? Why it should be considered, how we're dealing with 9 science, and how it relates to our hair, okay? Which was a gift given from the spiritual gods and goddesses. You dig what I'm saying? Also the flesh and blood gods and goddesses, okay? You can only really get into this type of information by way of reading the information, okay? as this information is telling you, is dealing with correct information, right? So that means a lot of information right now is being tossed around as truth, but it's really falsehood or opinions. Let's go into the H. Afro textured hair, also known as kinky hair, is a human hair texture prevalent in the indigenous populations of many regions with hot climates, sub-Saharan Africa, Melanesia, and Australia. Each strand of this hair type grows in a tiny angle-like helix shape. Each strand of hair type grows in a tiny angle-like helix shape. Helix is a shape like a corkscrew or spiral staircase. It is a type of smooth space curve with tangent lines at a constant angle to a fixed axis. Helices are important in biology as the DNA molecule is formed as two intertwined helices. Okay? You get that? You see that helix? Let's see if it's up here. That's NoopooH. There we go. You see that? We need proper reasoning, man. All right? North America ain't up here where they make kinky hair at. The overall effects is such that contrasted with straight hair, wavy hair, or curly hair. All right? Now, you may not be claiming that you got afro hair now, that your hair wavy or curly. You know what I mean? But afro hair grow in a helix like DNA. You'll go down and you'll get the breakdowns of the hair. Okay? All right. Afro texture hair has flattened cross section and is finer, and its ringlets can form tight circles with diameters of only a few millimeters. In humans worldwide, East Asian textured hair is the most common, whereas kinky hair is the least common. Okay? This is because the former hair texture is typical of the large populations inhabiting the Far East as well as the indigenous peoples of the Americas. Let's read that again. In humans worldwide, East Asian textured hair is the most common, whereas kinky hair is the least common. This is because the former hair texture is typical of the large populations inhabiting the Far East as well as the indigenous peoples of the Americas. Okay? They saying the indigenous peoples of the Americas have East Asian hair. Robin suggests that Afro texture hair may have initially evolved because of an adaptive need amongst humans' early hominoid ancestors for protection against the intense UV radiation of the sun in Africa. The author argues that Afro texture hair was the original hair texture of all modern humans prior to the out of Africa migration that populated the rest of the globe. Okay? That's the hair right there. All right? That's the hair right there. That's original hair right there. Okay? So if you got afro hair, right? If your hair grow like an afro, okay, then how are you an Indian? You feel me? That's all.